Jonathan Regev is in the border town of Sderot. Jonathan, first of all, reports of launches from sirens down in the south just in the past few minutes. Can you just update us?
Yes, I was supposed to talk to you a few minutes ago, but we were in the shelter. Therefore, it didn't happen. We just came out of the shelter. There was a very heavy barrage right above our heads. And it is happening here all the time. Southern Israel is now where most of the rockets are headed. Yes, Hamas is still sending rockets every now and then further to places further away. Ashdod, even Tel Aviv. Yesterday, rockets were fired to Jerusalem, but it's mostly the communities here, Sderot, where we are, Ashkelon, and so. There's always a concern that the heavy barrages are intended to help perhaps terrorists who might still want to try and infiltrate into Israel using perhaps the gaps that still exist in the border fence. The army says that it has control all over the border area, but still terrorists pop up. About 30 minutes ago, just about a mile to my left, in Kibbutz Nir Am, 3 terrorists were killed. So the army says it's in control of the area of the communities. That is true, but still terrorists pop up, still perhaps trying to cross the border. So quite a complicated issue there.
I want to just ask you, Jonathan, earlier today you were given access along with other journalists to Kibbutz Be'eri, over 100 Israelis killed there, atrocities also committed there. Just tell us a little of that.
It was a terrible scene, Kalev. A terrible, terrible scene. Just to understand the numbers, 110 Israelis, 110 bodies of Israelis were found in Kibbutz Be'eri. Atrocity at its worst. We're speaking of women, we're speaking of children, we're speaking of elderly. Houses there are completely torn apart. You could still smell death, I'll call it this way. There are also 103 bodies of terrorists, so we're speaking of 200 bodies altogether. The army is saying that it is hoping that it has reached all of the bodies of the Israelis so far, and they've been taken away. Terrible, terrible scenes. Houses completely torn apart, burnt down. And this is one of the communities which was thriving, flourishing before Saturday morning. Kibbutz Be'eri, a very prosperous and successful community, and now walking down the streets there is complete shock. Yes, we're hearing we're hearing about what has happened since Saturday morning. It's a completely different thing. Seeing it with your own eyes, terrible sights there in Kibbutz Be'eri. And now, Kalev, we have to run again to shelter. I see right above our heads the Iron Domes. We're running to the shelter, Kalev, for the second time in about 10 minutes. I think you can see it right above our heads.
Yes.
We're running to shelter, Kalev.
Oh, Jonathan, get to safety, Jonathan. We're hearing the booms.
Yes, we are. Yeah, we're here.
Get to safety.
You can hear the booms.
Wow.
Yeah, so now we're in the shelter, reporting from the shelter. This is right above our heads. You can see it, you can hear it. Now we're in the shelter. We're making sure we broadcast from a place that is very close to the protected shelter. We're not here by ourselves. Everyone who's here is running to shelter. This is, I think, the second time in about 10 minutes that we've had to do this. This is the reality here. This is the reality here in the city of Sderot. Constant barrages. We just spoke about Be'eri, a terrible sight there. It's also a terrible sight here. The roads here, we have to catch our breath. The roads here around Sderot, these are roads that I've driven on hundreds and hundreds of times. Now they're full of burnt cars, debris, clothes, babies' clothes outside the cars. Terrible scenes here in southern Israel, Kalev.
All right, Jonathan, please, you and the rest of the crew there, please take care. First of all comes the lives of you and our crew members down there, though we certainly appreciate your courageous reporting. Jonathan Regev in Sderot, thank you so much for that.